firstly telling you a little bit about myself, if I may. I come from a background that says if I want to learn something, then what's the best way of doing it? I'm actually a former international sportsman, having played table tennis for England many years ago. And I, back then, I had that same attitude then. How could I learn from the best in my field? And so as far as marketing and sales and developing business is concerned, I spent an inordinate amount of time attending seminars, reading books, listening to audio programs like this one from many of the world's leading experts. And I've spent over 28 years doing that, learning from the best in the world. I've read hundreds, probably thousands in reality, of books, audio, seminars, and really look to learn from the best in the world. Because I believe, someone who's the best in the world is, the best people to learn from. They've developed the businesses, they've, taken the action and made the money, not just, people who are out there talking about it. So, the amount of time I spend, I'm now looking to try and pass on through audio to you, to people like you, to small businesses who maybe not got the time to spend doing what I've done, but could distill some of the real key points that I've my research, my knowledge has put together in terms of business development. The other thing that I've done that's great was I've spent a lot of time working in different businesses and different industries. And one of the things you learn, it's a little bit like travelling. If you move out of Yorkshire, where I'm from, and move into the south of England or up to Scotland, you get to see different people from different backgrounds, different thoughts. You then move out of the UK into Europe. Again, you've got different cultures and different backgrounds, and you travel to Australia or Africa or UK, the USA, and again you get all sorts of different backgrounds and thoughts. And it's the same in different industries. What works in one industry wonderfully well might not work in another, but it also might work. And yet, when I work in one particular industry, pretty much give or take 10%, that industry markets itself, sells its services pretty much exactly the same as their competition. So by taking ideas from different industries, by adapting them to your industry, can be a great way of helping you to double business. Now, you may be sat there thinking, well, we're going through tough times at the moment, Steve. Doubling business, is that a reality? Is that possible? Well, to be honest, I don't know for you. I don't know your industry. I don't know your business. But what I do know is that there is easily a 15% increase there. There are always small incremental focuses that you could improve. For example, let's look at your recruitment of new customers. Would it be possible for you to increase the number of customers that you've currently got by, let's say, 15%? Would it then also be possible to sell a slightly larger unit of sale each time you make a sale, of, let's say, again, 15%? And then to get them coming back more often, maybe 15% more often. If you just focus on those three things and make a massive difference to your business, because those things stack together. Something I call the 15% rule, and I'll be talking about that in a future Raise Again program. Many small businesses have a problem in terms of affording marketing expertise. What does a typical small business say to someone who is a consultant? And that is normally, can you work quicker? And I say that only slightly tongue-in-cheek. It's something that a lot of small businesses maybe can't afford. So that's the reason why I've put this program together. The price of the program is minuscule compared with the value. It's just so small that if you can't seriously afford this as a business, then you shouldn't be in business. I say that not to try and sell you, but to try and emphasize the importance of my material, of what I'm going to talk about. They're not my ideas, they're not Steve Mills's thoughts, they're the experts in the world, things that have been proven again and again and again to work in small businesses and medium-sized businesses throughout the world, no matter what the industry. The program, if I may tell you about it, is a monthly audio program, just like this one. You sign up, you pay by standing order, and you get a monthly audio program sent through to you. There's no tie-in, you can stop it whenever you want, and I will pledge to deliver some really, really cutting-edge strategies to you to help you. My objective is to help you to double your business, and together, hopefully we can do that. Having said that, there's a problem with this, and that is that I'm not there. I'm not there to coach you. I'm not there to hassle you. I'm not there to be the person who's going to turn up at your business and say, look, have you done what you said you were going to do? Have you taken any action? Because, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this carefully. If you don't do anything, learning is a total and utter waste of time. It's the application of learning that makes the difference. We need to use what you've learned in order to develop yourself. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to talk to you about some strategies now, some ideas. I'm going to give you a flavour of the type of thing that we're going to be talking about throughout the program. The first thing, and it is first in every sense of the word, is measuring. Making sure that you measure what's working and what's not. Because if you're going to implement some of these ideas, you want to know whether they're working or not. So the key area is getting a good understanding of your current marketing numbers. Do you know what your marketing numbers are? I'm talking about the number of inquiries that came into your business last month, the amount of leads that you converted into meetings, the amount of meetings that you converted into proposals, the amount of proposals that you converted into sales, the average unit of sale, and the lifetime value of your clients. By the way, the lifetime value means the average unit of sale times the number of sales per year times the number of years that that client purchases your services. So do you know those key marketing numbers? Because if you don't, that's your number one action. You've got to get a good understanding of where you are. A lot of money, I believe, is wasted. I remember Sir John Harvey Jones saying when he took over as chairman of ICI, when it was losing millions or billions of pounds and certainly not doing very well, he said that he knew that 50% of his marketing budget of millions of pounds was actually being wasted. The trouble is, he didn't know which 50%. And in my experience, that's the case with most small businesses. I'd say over 90% of small businesses, well, actually I'd probably say 99.999% of all businesses waste an amount of money, if not a significant amount of money on marketing. To stop that, we need to understand what's working and what's not. You just take down your lead creation. You know, if you're doing, I don't know, you've got a website, you're getting some business from referral, you're doing networking, you may be advertising, you're doing telemarketing. How many leads do they create? Where do they come from? If it's on the web, you know, you may say, well, we get 15 inquiries per week from our website. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from pay-per-click, from Google, from Yahoo, from Yell? Are they people typing your domain name in because they've met you at a networking event? If they do come onto your site, where do they go? There are systems and procedures in place, there are ways of analysing this, and it is really, really important. Caveat, let's start small. Let's just get an understanding of how many leads come in and where they come from and how many of those you turn into sales. We can start getting a little bit more technical a little bit later on. What I believe you need to do on the next phase is to take a look at your current marketing and say to yourself, right, well, how effective is it? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely awful, it's a waste of time, 5 being it's average, I do okay from it, and 10 being it couldn't possibly be any better. So again, using my analogy, if you're doing telemarketing, where would you rate it at the moment? If you've got a website, how effective is it at the moment? Is it an average website, doesn't really produce much business? Is it absolutely awful? Is it couldn't be any better? Once you've done that, on the program, we'll enable you and give you strategies and tools to improve all those key areas. Okay? I'm going to spend a few moments just focusing on one key area at the moment. And it's an area of business that I'm really passionate about, and that is the area called referral, or word of mouth. I speak at a lot of conferences and exhibitions, and there's all this wonderful technology in marketing around at the moment, but in my experience, the number one way that businesses win business is still by referral. I ask 100 businesses, where do you get most of your business from? They'll say it's word of mouth. And yet, when I ask them what systems you have in place to win more business from word of mouth, they look at me open-mouthed and say, well, we don't really have a system, we just do a good job and people recommend us. Now, if you're willing to leave that really important area of your business to chance, then that's a decision you make. I prefer the idea of having a systematized process in there. So the Raise Your Game program will help you to systematize your referral marketing. It'll provide you with a system of what to do, when to ask for a referral, how to ask for a referral, give you targets for winning more business from referral, and it'll really provide you with a way of maximizing that particular area. So you need to take each area of your business and look at ways in which you can maximize it. So, in effect, rather than being a liability, that website's there and it's not really earning its keep, it's maybe even losing money, it's certainly not got your £5,000 back that you invested in the website 18 months ago. Instead of that, it starts to trickle income in. And then that trickle, like all rivers, becomes a stream. And that stream becomes a river, and so on and so forth. So the idea being that we start to develop what I call streams of income. Okay? Your website becomes a stream of income. Your referral becomes a stream of income. It then goes on to obviously become a river of income. Your telemarketing, and so on and so forth. Once we've done that, or once you've done that, the next thing to look at is how can we introduce new streams of income. And we're going to be showing you ways of doing that. We're going to be looking at some of the things that perhaps you have not thought about, some of the ideas you've not considered in terms of bringing in marketing new ideas, but then we're also going to be focusing on selling. And it's all very well in business bringing in 1,000 leads, but if you only convert 20 of them, you've wasted a phenomenal amount of leads and a phenomenal amount of your marketing budget. So we need to make sure not only do you bring those leads in, but you're very, very good at converting them. We then need to look at a budget. How much time, money and effort are you going to spend? It's very easy to think about budget as being a cost. I believe marketing should be an investment. I believe you should have an unlimited marketing budget. You don't mind how much you spend on marketing because you're measuring what you do, and you know that for every marketing pound you spend, you're bringing £10 of profit back into your business. Why wouldn't you have an unlimited budget? What do I mean? Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you're doing, we're going a little bit old-fashioned here, but you're doing direct mail. And you know that you send out 1,000 leaflets or 1,000 letters. Every 1,000 you send out, that produces 50 inquiries. And you know out of those 50 inquiries, that produces 25 sales. And you know out of those 25 sales, the average unit of sale is £500. So you know that for every 1,000 letters that go out, that produces £12,500 and costs you £400. Who wouldn't have an unlimited marketing budget using that particular strategy? Absolutely, but unless you know your marketing numbers, unless you test to get the best possible return on investment, you're probably never going to think with that mentality. You think, well, are we going to allocate 5,000, 10,000, £100,000 for marketing this year? No, that's not the way to do it. Using our systems, using our ideas, you have an unlimited marketing budget. But you test. I mentioned that word testing. Being a Yorkshireman, I don't like wasting money. I like to make sure that every marketing pound I spend is invested wisely. So it's very important, I believe, to test different approaches. If you think about going back to my direct mail campaign, what could we do to improve it? We know that it's working well, but we could do things like change the text, change the headline to see if we can get a better response. Try different use of colour, try using pictures in there, make the offer different. Add a PS on to the end of the sales letter, because the second most read part of any sales letter is the PS. And if you're writing sales letters at the moment without a PS, you will potentially increase the response rate by adding a PS to your sales letter, adding a different article into that into the envelope that goes out. It could be a case study, a testimonial, a sheet full of testimonials. Who knows? By testing different things. What about your target market? Instead of sending it to this type of business, send it to that type of business. Instead of targeting one part of the city, target another part of the city. All different things that you can test to get the best possible return on your investment. The next section I'd like to talk to you about is I think again a real key area, and that is something we call the windows of opportunity. We will be doing a CD all about this, but just to briefly explain what this is about. Windows of opportunity comes from a gentleman called Peter Thompson. Peter's one of the UK's leading business strategists, and I've learned a lot from Peter and admire his work greatly. And he talks about winning more business from current clients. And it's something that I really am, again, passionate about. How can we get the best return from our current clients? Because the old saying in marketing, it's far harder to win a new client than it is to get business from a current client, is absolutely true. So Peter's windows of opportunity are basically done on a spreadsheet. So if you imagine a spreadsheet which with across the top you've got a list of all the services that you provide. Down the left hand side you've got a list of all your clients. And you work out that you know that, let's say, client 1 buys product number 1, 3 and 5, and client 2 buys products 2, 4 and 6, client C buys products 1 and 2, and client D buys products 5 and 7, whatever that is. You then see the windows of opportunity. Are you with me? So you can see what's not been sold. You know that client number 1, who's bought 1, 3 and 5, maybe doesn't even know that you sell product 2, 4, 6 and 7. So there's an opportunity there. That is where the opportunity is, to actually make sure that they're aware of the full service range that you provide. Price. Price is another, so how much do you charge? How much do you charge? How much do you charge for your services? Are you below average? Are you average? Or are you above average? What would happen if you put your prices up tomorrow by 1%? Would anybody not buy from you? Now, if you went down the pub and you found out that the beer had gone up by 1%, would it make any difference whatsoever? Do you even know how much you pay for a pint of beer down the pub? don't think I do. Roughly, but I don't really know. So what would happen to your business if you put your prices up by 1%, or maybe 2%, or 3%, or 4%, or 5%? Not sure I could put them up 5%, Steve, but I suppose I could 4. What difference would that make to your business? Well, it would make a massive difference. Think about testing price. You may want to test price to new clients. You may want to test price to new products, but constantly look to test different prices to different markets and look to try and grow your business through pricing. If you're a consultant, how much would you pay for a consultant? If you're an IT company, how much is an IT company or an accountant? You can pay almost anything, can't you? The price varies enormously. If you imagine, there's an exercise I do often with in my training courses. If you could imagine, I've got a tea tray in my hand, and it's a good quality tray. It's got a nice design on it, and it looks nice and professionally made. It's a good quality product. If you think about how much would that be for sale at let's say, Marks and Spencer's, Debenhams, Lewis's, that type of department store, where would you say? And when I ask business owners, they will say anything from, let's say, £20 up to maybe 40, maybe £45. I then say to them, okay, well, let's take the same tray, and this time it's still brand new, but it's going to be for sale at a boot fair. So I'd like you to write down how much you think that would be for sale at a boot fair. And typically they'll write down anything from 50p to maybe £5 or £6. I then say to them, okay, let's take the same tray, same condition, same packaging, everything the same, and this time it's going to be for sale at Harrods. How much would you expect to pay at Harrods? And the feedback that I normally get is anything between about £50 and maybe £250. And I'll say, that's interesting, isn't it? So we're willing to pay, asking the same market, you people out there, anything from 50p to £200 for exactly the same thing. What's the difference? The difference is perception. The difference is perception of price. You'd expect to pay more for a tea tray at Harrods than you would at a boot fair. True? Why? It's down to perception. Interesting point to this. If you were going to a boot fair, would you haggle over the price? Well, most people on my seminars say, yeah, absolutely I would. I'd knock them down from 50p to 20p. I'd say, okay, well, if you went to Harrods, would you knock them down? So, absolutely not. Why? To do with perception. So is it true then, would you say, that if a product is fairly expensive, is provided by a reputable supplier, that you don't haggle over price? And if it's cheap, cheap as chips. There's a perception. Would you take advice from someone who provided cheap services? Does anybody here listening to this CD want to buy anything that's the cheapest? A lot of people tell me, well, we struggle to sell things because we're more expensive. And yet, when I talk to people and ask them when they're buying things, they very rarely buy the cheapest. Do you have the cheapest car, the cheapest shirt, the cheapest suit, cheapest watch, cheapest pen, cheapest anything? We don't. We tend to go somewhere in the middle. We don't necessarily want to buy, the Mont Blanc 250, 500 pound pen. Most people, and business people, let's say, would maybe have a nice quality pen, not necessarily a Mont Blanc or a Rolex watch, but they have a good quality watch. So, think about your pricing, because that's a really, really important area of your business. So, today really what we've covered is maximising our current leads, getting a good understanding of our measuring, testing different approaches. Now, just let me talk to you again about this testing, because if you don't pick up anything from this CD other than this, I really want to ingrain this in your heart, in your mind and your soul. Testing produces results. I've known people change the headline on an advert and double or triple the response. I've known people test different media for delivery of a particular marketing campaign and increase the response by 20, 30, 40%. I've known people test the search words that they use on a Google pay-per-click advertising campaign and increase the number of inquiries by 400 to 500% increase. And I've known people attending networking events, standing up and giving their 1 minute claim to fame talk, double the number of inquiries that they get because they test saying something different in a different way to increase interest in their business. So that's about it for this week, for this month. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you find it interesting. But most of all, I hope you use the ideas. I really hope you continue to sign up to the program. I'm sure you get the passion behind the reason that I'm doing this. And it really is to try and help everybody in business to grow and to improve. I hope I can help you on an ongoing basis, even if it's just through this audio program. I hope that we can connect and you'll give me some feedback as to how the ideas that I've discussed in the program have helped you to take your business where you want it to go. This is Steve Mills signing off from the Raise Your Game monthly audio program, wishing you every success in your business. Thank you. Hi, Steve Mills here live. What you've just listened to is it's a fairly old program that I produced on CD back in the good old days when CDs were the way forward. And it's a program called Raise Your Game. And the reason I've used it is it's just got, it sort of made me think about, some of the stuff that I've done in the past and really how valuable that information still is today. I'm sure you agree that everything I spoke about back then, probably 7 or 8, maybe 10 years ago now, was really valuable today. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to do a couple more of those over the next few months. So listen out on my podcast for the next one, and enjoy really, and more importantly, as ever, take action and implement some of the ideas. If you want to know more from me, if you want to really take your business to the next level, then what you need to do is this. You need to have a conversation with me about joining my results program. It's all about accelerating and improving the results that you get from your sales and marketing to take your business to the next level. And, the first step in doing so will be for you and I to have a conversation. We can meet up. I'd like to talk to you about the results that you're currently getting, what your aims are for the next 12 months, and then we can discuss the best way for you to get the results that you require. So thank you ever so much for listening. Look forward to speaking to you again on my next podcast. Thank you.